good horse. He was the horse that mitigated his anxiety the minute he felt it. Think about McEnroe playing tennis, and you might be too young to remember. John McEnroe was the first bad boy tennis player.
Oh,
And he picked fights with the judge. He would slam his racket, and then he would play better, which is as dysfunctional in this very civilized game as anybody.
I was gonna say during tennis.
Yeah, I know, tennis is
Wow.
church, right? Well, no, he would lose his temper and then he would play better, but the thing that I wanna say is, if you create those feelings, well, what they tell you in therapy, and I would know, is if you create a feeling, you must express it. And we can't pretend differently. And so that's where you're stuck right there, is that both of you have created this feeling that you can't express, and the feeling is no, or the feeling is dread. Your horse says, I've got a ton of anxiety, it's just chaos. Well, okay, I cannot stop his head from expressing it, I'm just gonna ride him forward. And stop thinking about how he should be, and appreciate, that notion of, I have to be here now. I can't explain to you how her horse became the best behaved horse at the clinic. Here's the best part. The night before, she texts me, and I'm in a camper by her barn, and she says, the camera's set up, we're ready to go, see you in the morning, good night. And then she texted me 20 minutes later, and she said, I'm on the way to the hospital, I've broken my kneecap. Oh. So I say, do you wanna cancel the clinic? My God, she's paid a fortune to have me there, and now this, and it's a 4-day clinic. And so the first day, she was pretty much drugged out. Her trainer came, and her trainer is somebody who I've worked with as well, and her trainer rode him twice. This horse that we thought might need to be euthanized. And, I don't think it's a ton different than Holly's situation, other than the fact, with Holly, it's physical.
Yeah.
With him, it didn't start that way, it just got that way. And, here is the deal, they have to come apart before they can come back together. And so you bet I celebrate Rides Like today. I know you wanna kill me, but it's like, well, look at how soft your body is now. Look at how soft he was when we turned him out. We used to believe that we could ride horses through it, but all that does is get them stuck in their sympathetic system. So when a horse is in their flight response, and it could be fight, flight, or freeze. Flight, freeze. They can't learn, they can't think. They can't stop it any more than a child crying on the floor of the grocery store would stop it. So what do you do? And that's the question. What do you do? Well, we do transitions.
Right.
I don't wanna stop where we were. I wanna mess with his mind, and I refuse to punish him. So what are my choices? Well, one option would be to take him out and ride him on the grass. Walk him out, the ceiling's high enough, although I don't, my rule is I don't ride in barn aisles. But that was an option. And the reason it's important to think of your options is because it doesn't feel like you have any. And so, one of the things that I did in my life for a number of years, I was a rape counselor. And the first thing you do, people want to believe that if they were wearing something else, it wouldn't have happened, somehow blame themselves for it. We problem solve options, and they are all ridiculous and stupid because violence against a woman is never correct. But okay, maybe you wore something else, maybe you carried mace, maybe you know, I'm gonna make up as many escape options because she feels she has none. And I think we get ourselves in spots like that with horses all the time, where we feel like, you know, there's a way I want my horse to behave, and my horse is not doing it.
Yeah, I feel like you're failing. That's what I went through with Dahmer when I first got him. He had
Oh, God.
I'd get on him and our whole ride would be trying to get him to stop rearing because he would just literally fits and he didn't want to like bolt or go or anything. He would just rear and throw like these huge
Is
tantrums.
just avoiding his mouth. Rearing almost always has to do with evasion of pain.
Because he would do it even like just,
Oh, yeah.
if I had like no contact or anything on him.
It's not, it's not about you.
I know, and I was
It's
like,
just
what's
that you're
wrong?
on his back.
I know, and I was like, I don't know if it's the like, I don't know what, I was just like, oh my god, and then I was like, I was just bursting into tears, being like, I feel like I'm failing him.
Oh, God.
I'm like, what am I doing wrong?
I just have one bad ride after another.
Yeah, I know.
And I can't, what the hell is wrong with me
I know.
that I can't walk this horse? Well, walking a horse, you know, I wish people would understand the reason we score, no kidding, a double coefficient at each level. Because it is the easiest gait to screw up, it is the hardest gait to fix. If you do not have, if your horse isn't born with a metronome for a walk and yours wasn't, yours might, you know, then we have to be the metronome. So here we are with our sit bones. And then the minute we get distracted, the minute our hands engage, our sit bones stop. So we give him a halt command with our sit bones, and then we give him a halt command with our reins, and now we're stuck. He can't shut down any farther. And where do you go from there? I mean, he's done a nosedive. The only option is to ask him to go forward. He can't unravel himself. He can't unravel himself. You know, my mentor, has been dead for 20 years. And I hear her voice in your lessons ring like a bell. And she just says forward. That's all she says. And for the millions of times I heard it, translating it into my body is so hard.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It is so hard, and you know, you may feel I am being patronizing, saying to each of you for different reasons, hell of a good ride, but no kidding, this is about the mental
I don't
health
think
of
you
your
get to take
horse.
it alone. I don't think so.
And I want him to tell me it's not good.
Well,
I want the good horses to tell me most of all, because, no kidding, he feels like, you know, from what you told me, he actually wasn't shut down here at all like he used to be.
Yeah, they, and the boys
I
down
know,
there.
when the big-
I know, that's what I said, I was like, we have
Yay.
boys down there.
Okay, how's it going?
No, I said the same thing.
What, me word?
That we didn't see this. Yeah, but he's eating hay.
This is about her, it's not about me.
No. He seems content, Renee. I think he feels okay about himself.
I distracted her.
She's allowed to be distracted. Right. You good?
So, just to be clear, I'm gonna talk about, Stacy behind her back in broad daylight.
We always do that to her, it's fine.
They
She's
do it
used
right
to
in front of me, Anna, it's
Yeah.
really rude.
We make sure she hears us, no.
So I distracted her horse, I stood behind her butt and she had to swing her head around and look at me. And Stacy did not correct her. You know how hard that is? It's really hard. She saw me not correct her horse. Yay.
Kaylin, can you just stand with her for a sec while I suit up my armor?
Suit up. Ollie, Ollie.
Okay.
You know, this notion that we prioritize our horse above everything else going on, I think that's really hard.
You know, it takes a lot of focus.
You have
Because
a lot
you're-
of focus, yes,
Well, they've given me focus.
yes. Yes, right on.
You don't have the option of not having
I don't.
focus. And, you
I don't
know,
have the option.
and I mean, it is the curse of being young. It is the curse of starting horses later. You know, I used to watch people who did a really good job that I envied. And I would just think, oh God, why can't I be like them?
They've
Well-
been doing it for 50 years.
You gotta, yeah, I mean, you gotta ride a lot of bad horses to learn to hold that focus no matter what. And, you know, people say, oh yeah, you know, I don't care what you think about my horse. Oh, that's a lie.
I care what you think about my horse. I don't care what you think about me.
I believe that.
Cause I don't care.
You know Patty Brayler? She's a Barney and she has that horse, Crazy Horse, who,
Oh, yeah.
she has worked miracles with this horse. And she flat out truly does not care what people think. She is so refreshing.
Well, I don't know that people call it refreshing. Again, I don't care.
I have had to develop, knowing that I say things in public that go against what we've always been taught. I have to studiously understand that I care what people think. I just say what I need to say. And it's tough, because no kidding, you know, sometimes it doesn't go the way we want, but that doesn't mean we didn't learn something really valuable.
Well, you're in the business of helping horses, you're not in sales.
I introduce myself by saying I'm a horse advocate, but people get plenty mad at me.
No.
Thank you. You know, people think that they're, you know, that nobody's critical of me, and it's just not true. So she doesn't have just the most flawless rhythm on her own, does she? No, she does not. And so my sit bones have to be a metronome for her. And, you know, you guys have seen it in all breeds. Lots of Arabs move like metronomes. Quarter horses can have a metronome-like movement that is just a real shuffly sort of thing. Warm bloods are famous for it. And some horses have no rhythm at all, and some people have no rhythm at all. And that's why you have music on your phones and you play it while you're riding. Because in that moment where everything fries, the beat comes up and it changes the attitude of a horse. It works pretty damn well on us too. Yay. Oh, strange poop. I do have to say, I'm getting hungry for lunch.
Yes, yes.
I've been like shoving snacks.
Well,
in my face.
Stacy was kind enough to lay it out for us in the gazebo, so that's where we're going next.
Yay. You know, I'm gonna talk about her because she has horses, especially this horse. You know, the example I gave of how a horse doesn't get into a trailer, that's what she knows about this mare. And it isn't that things need to be perfect, it's gonna be different every day, but she's gotta keep the ball rolling the direction she wants, and she can't change it. You know, it may go astray, but she has to focus on, you know, it's like there's a funnel to the mounting block, and she has to get her course there. When I was competing, my friends were unhappy with me because I kept my tack in my trailer and I didn't hang with everybody. And they were all talking bad about their horses. You know, grousing about this or that. And so it's like, yeah, you know, I have to go where the air is pure. because I'm susceptible, not, if everybody complains about the judge, I'm
Can
not
you
gonna
just
hit
watch that
X
and
in
make
the
sure?
mood I wanna be in.
She's like, "Am I beautiful?"
She is beautiful. We tell her every day.
No, not always. He said every
The
morning.
dilemma, I cannot back, she has to have forward to
I know.
get, this is a great moment. She's stuck here, and I'm just pointing it out because it's fun. How'd she manage to do that on a slack rein?
She's with Stacy. With Stacy.
Say again?
She's with Stacy.
Yeah. But here's the news, folks, and boy, I am sorry to say this. How we lead a horse is also how we ride the horse, isn't it? And so you bet I'm gonna have a slack rein. The connection, she doesn't trust the lead rope. Stacy doesn't trust the lead rope because it's not a real connection,
Oh, okay.
not one that this mare would respect. This mare, she thinks something else. So I'm gonna stay out here and yell bloody murder. Boy, that was nice. And so, just the same, it's your first moment, your first few strides, and you're gonna feel your sit bones. One goes up and then the other. One goes up and then the other. I'm gonna pay attention to the wrinkles of my shirt at my waist, because right now, they're not moving much, but in 10 minutes they will be. I want to notice when that happens, so I'm gonna feel the wrinkles in my shirt now. I don't care where she goes, I just care that she walks. One foot in front of the other. I might engage my sit bones down at this end of the arena because there seems to be a big hole down here. Well done. So I'm gonna feel my sit bones over the anxiety of my horse. I'm just gonna feel that rhythm and not worry about anything else. Sometimes I'll ask for a longer stride. Beautiful. Sometimes I'll go back to that middle stride. If I have a really forward horse, I'll ask for, 2 or 3 smaller steps. If my horse is just kind of a normal going forward horse, I might ask for 1 stride and then send her on. I want her balance, but I'm gonna ask her for her attention as well by doing transitions. I'm gonna warm up her top line by asking her to take big strides and small strides. And then when I've done that, I'm gonna feel the swing of her barrel, and I might pulse her ribs out on a corner for 3 strides. Beautiful. My sit bones will keep moving, and then I'll pulse her out again, 3 strides. Beautiful. And so, as your legs pulse, she actually dropped her pole and stretched. That's a better answer, isn't it? I'm looking for more flexibility in her vertebra, but what she says is, my neck stretch is more important to me now. Well, okay, that's a better answer. If I only take one answer, then I'm not listening to her. And I'll engage my sit bones before I get to the end of the arena so that I have some forward to lose. Does that make sense? I'm just gonna prepare ahead. Excellent. Oh, she's got a lick and a chew for us. Yay. Who is this horse? What a good girl. And so keep riding, keep doing these transitions. Sometimes as you come around this corner, you're gonna turn her with your outside knee pulsing now, One pulse is enough. Oh, yeah. Now you're just showing off. That's okay with me. Show off all you like. So, now, I just want to say what it is I see because I want us to learn to see it. She hasn't touched those reins. The mare's face just gets less and less, and yeah, you'll use that outside leg now. You know, Stacy, we tend to try and save the 10-meter volts for later in the ride, but you know, she's her front end is moving under you because you're riding her shoulders with your knees. Oh, beautiful. So that time she said, I would like to fall to the inside. And you said, well, I'm just going to pulse your withers to the outside. And then she said, well, dang, that feels pretty good. Because if I am able to hold rhythm with her body, she'll take the cue. So you can't see it, but her head was cranked way to the inside. She was ready to do a nosedive and collapse. And Stacy's leg just said, or, God, Stacy, it's as if you read my blog.
Or your books.
Or
Listen to your video.
Or any of those things. So here's the thing that seems inconceivable to us, but it's what this mare is going to say. So they're just having this rhythmic, pulsy sort of ride. They're moving together with each other through space. And so now the helicopter lands. But what Holly says is, I would like to get all wrapped around the axle of that helicopter, but you know, the rhythm, it just feels so good. The foundation of the dressage training pyramid is rhythm, that a horse must be relaxed and moving forward, which, by the way, is not all that easy. It's easy to have forward or it's easy to be relaxed. The combination of the two is pretty tricky. Without that rhythm, well, everything good happens rhythmically. Walking, chewing, breathing. Everything bad comes with a break of rhythm, bucking, bolting, squeaking. I cannot break her rhythm. Yeah. You know, here's the curse. Here's your big problem.
Okay.
When you do it well, I make you get off.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. And she shakes her pole. So what I would like you to do in a moment, and I mean, it's like I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding. When they're perfect, we get off. So, yeah, I want you to, and you'll start down at C. I want you to walk a 3-loop serpentine the width of the arena. And so this arena is a little bit short. I'm thinking it's probably like a 15-meter arc. And then you'll walk perpendicular across the center line. So she comes around this corner, outside yes. Straight there, and you begin your new turn with your waist. Oh, that's pretty. And that rhythm maintains. So if it takes X amount of energy to walk on the rail, then it takes more energy to ride a pattern, right?
Right.
Okay, so that was good. That was 2 serpentines. I want 3. Which is really good. It means you get to do it again. And if you had done it well, you know I was going to make you get off.
Well, so there's a map.
Yeah, so there's one at F, and then one at B, and then one at H or whatever letter it is down at the end. So yeah, they're long, skinny serpentines, aren't they? Lots of straight in them, and then that shoulder comes, She has you so well trained. She's doing nothing. So while she's completing this, and then cross the next diagonal. Charlotte Dujardin, the woman who has won the last 2 gold medals at the Olympics. Here's my impression of Charlotte Dujardin riding. Here she is at the collected walk. Here she is at the trot. This is her canter half pass. Here's her, wait for it, here's her extended canter. We ride body to body, not hand to mouth. It's about the hardest thing for a chimp to unlearn, and we are primates. It's our instinct. We expect a horse to lay down their instinct, and how we are able to do that is by laying down our own first. How long did you fight with that neck ring before it started working?
A lot.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to really hate it. And the degree to which you hate a neck ring is the degree to which you overuse your hands. And so when you say, I feel like I have no control, yeah, let's get into that. Because, you know, this, I'm going to say this loud and offensively. Yeah, she's on Prozac, but that doesn't fix Stacy's hands. And, you know, bitless bridles don't fix our hands, although a lot of horses really like, oh boy, that's nice. Okay, Stacy, and do this over on the next long side. Whatever size you decide. A large circle, a small circle inside of the large circle, and then back to the large circle. And use an entire circle to get smaller and larger. Does that make sense? And so, yeah. And so, for her to do a smaller circle inside of this large circle, she has to have more energy for that circle, doesn't she? It takes more gas. And so, how she is figuring out how to ride this large circle is she's going to do it a quarter of the circle at a time, because it always comes apart on the end of the circle. Always. No kidding. Oh, now I get to say this out loud, and it's always really fun. Not more bend than that.
Not more? Or you want less?
Not more. I'm joking, but I mean, no kidding. Her bend is perfect, isn't it? And it's perfect because of the turn in her body, in Stacy's body. What a good girl. So, there is no way to put a horse in good condition better than this. You know, if we're going to run her in a race, yeah, we're going to build her up, air her up, you know, start feeding her crack again, things like that. But to walk in a forward and relaxed way with her neck level or her head a little bit lower, I mean, just for a minute, imagine her skeleton. So every time Ruger tosses his head up, and he does it compulsively, it's not you, his little vertebrae, you feel it. The more she stretches, the more she gets like this. Every time he gets long, he starts to think, oh my God, I might fall down. Which is why, again, you are doing the correct thing by sending him forward, but he doesn't even trust that that's going to hold him up. And so, yeah. Okay, you do have to get down. How much trot work are you doing with her?
3 times a week for about 45 minutes.
We'll do that this afternoon.
The girl thing.
Look at you. Stacy, holy crap. But, that's what I say. So she glows within seconds of you getting off. So again, I don't care that she's yawning. If she has anxiety, I want her to express it and I want to give her the opportunity to. But I mean, she managed to regulate herself through that ride. Why is that, Stacy? It's your fault.
It's always me.
But that's the deal. If we're gonna take the blame, then we have to take the credit for what we do right. And that's the deal about where we turn up the volume on the ride, turn it up on what you do well. Well, can't be perfect. I know. Honey,
This is how to do it.
my God. I know, that's what I say.
Where is your Negro?
Hanging over here.
Wow, wow, wow. So, we will go have lunch, and then, I mean it, when one person goes in, the next person will be tacking up,
Okay.
and we'll ride one more time today.
Why are you so sweaty?
That's hard work.
I'm exhausted.
It's hard work
I'm
in
exhausted.
college.